Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Hang. It's nice to be back. Nice for you to stop by because today is actually a really good episode, I think. They're always really good episodes, but we finally have the founder and just the mother of Queensboro Dance Festival. In case you guys never heard of Queensboro Dance Festival, well, now you will because that's what we're here to do. And if you want to find out more about Queensboro Dance Festival after this episode, definitely go on their website, go on their social medias, which will be posted all in the show notes. But for now, I'm not gonna stay here and talk all day. But yeah, definitely look forward to it. It's Karesia Batan, by the way. This is the founder and current life giver of Queensboro Dance Festival. By the way, on a little side news, there is a brand new video out now on the JXD Entertainment page for you to go listen to. It's a brand new song, original song, brand new video to it. So go check it out. I'll also post the link on that, on the show notes. And what I'll do actually for the little musical interlude is that I will put, for every episode that comes out, I'll put on a verse for one of the artists that collaborated on the collaborative live performance number 2. And if you want to hear the whole thing, go check out the whole video or just listen to every episode that's coming up on The Hang. So without further ado, here is the song and here's the episode of Karesia.
Something about the way that you make me feel, your confidence in me to be the best I can be, the way that you hold me, the way that you sold me, thinking I'd be in a perpetual love. Don't you worry about a thing. You have my heart for all time. Love me, hold me, feel me, touch me slowly, baby. Love me, hold me, feel me, touch me. Let go of worries. You don't have to worry about this, baby.
Officially start. I'm getting a little sidetracked.
All right.
So hey everybody, thank you once again for tuning in to the Ham Podcast. I was like, what's the name of this podcast again? Because it feels like it's been a while, but thankfully we have somebody that I've actually wanted here for a while.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, because I think
Cool.
it'd always be cool idea to have the what exactly are you to Queensboro Dance Festival?
Okay.
Yes.
So
This is Karesia Batan, by the way.
Hi, I'm Karesia. I am the founding executive director of the Queensboro Dance Festival. I'm also a dancer. So I very much identify with being like a dancer and a founder first.
Yeah.
And then once the festival operations became like larger and more official, and then we became a 501c3. And,
Okay.
on all the paperwork, it's like you have to have a title. I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
that's
man,
right.
I guess I'm going to be an executive director now."
Nice.
But yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So actually, I saved all my questions for now because I had so many questions when I met you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, how did you ever end up like here doing this?
Oh, man.
Because it's like, I mean, from what I see, it's kind of not only a decent operation that's been going on for years. Like it's
Thanks.
more than decent. It's like growing and it's
you've worked with us
right.
at Queen's Theater, but now this year you're also on site with us.
Yeah.
So now you get like the whole 360 of what we do.
No, that's good because that's what I like to see myself. Like I'm just like kind of nerdy when it comes to like the whole like I guess you call it entertainment industry. Like I want to know everything, even like the back end stuff that people usually don't want to know about.
Yeah.
So
that's
what,
where it all happens.
Yeah, exactly. So can you tell us a little bit about like how you said you were a dancer?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yep.
I assume you started out dancing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I still like to say that I'm still a dancer. It's just sort of evolved, like the purpose of why I'm still dancing and
Okay.
and my contribution to the field here. But yeah, I started the festival
in 2014, so almost 10 years ago. It'll be 10 years next year as a dancer, living in Queens, doing the hustle that everybody does. You know,
right.
like you move to New York, you got big dreams, you're chasing your dreams, you're auditioning, and I was taking class and going, you know, to see shows and rehearsing, and I was always leaving Queens to do these things. Like all of the dance community that I knew was outside of this borough. So you know, when living in Queens, the commute to anything that had to do with my career was like 45 minutes to an hour on average. So I got to thinking, I was like, there's got to be other resources in Queens or other dancers like me. Like, why do we have to keep leaving the borough to build our dance careers here? Like, there's got to be stuff here that maybe I just don't know about. I don't know how to find them. I don't know where to meet other dancers. There's still no dedicated dance space in Queens the way, you know, Brooklyn has Mark Morris, or, you know, Manhattan has Lincoln Center. And, you know, there's just nothing like that here. In Queens. So that's pretty much why I started the festival. And it was it still is in a lot of ways, like very grassroots. Like, literally it was the random person knocking on doors, like asking, like, hi, like, do you know, I'm asking venues, I'm asking, you know, just people who, do you know dancers in Queens? Like, where does everybody go to take class? Like, what does the dance landscape look like here? Which is why I started the festival, and it's revealed itself that it's just as diverse as all the people that live here. It's a lot of cultural groups. It's a lot of, you know, your contemporary and your classical groups as well. It's independent artists. It's families. It's community centers that have dance groups, and some groups have been around for decades, but really have only performed for their immediate community. So our tour is just a way to put all of these different dance genres on one platform and share it as widely as we can across the borough.
You know, this is why, like, I just found out so much about the whole festival, and it's like, this is why I love having people over like you, because it's like you saw a problem, you saw the issue, and you're like, I'm not just gonna stand around and, you know, keep it going like that. It's like, let's make a change, you know?
And it was also, and all of it, a lot of it came too from like my personal dance career. I was like, why are all of these things that we know about happening in other boroughs and we don't know what's happening in Queens? So it wasn't necessarily just like, I want to make my commute shorter. It wasn't really that. It was also just kind of like, there's so many people that live here, and how come we don't know each other as artists? Like, how do we all meet as artists? Why do I have to meet another Queens artist by going to somewhere, you know, downtown or somewhere in deep Brooklyn? Like, why can't I just meet them here? So yeah, being able to fill that gap and keep addressing that gap, and making resources in Queens more accessible to the artists that live and work here, has made my dance career a little bit more purposeful.
Nice.
Than just like myself doing a freelance hustle.
Would you say actually, I mean, I'm pretty sure like most parents or teachers can attest to this, but would you say it's actually, you feel better when it's more than just about you? When it's like you're actually helping the whole community, the whole borough, right?
Like it's community is like, I don't know, it means so much to me. Like, you know, being able to contribute and do something, especially in New York City. Like, there's so many people that come here. There's like so much opportunity for everybody. So to be able to take advantage of those opportunities for myself, but also be able to give back and like leave some sort of positive contribution to the field, has been really rewarding. You know, it makes it feel like, okay, cool, I'm making a difference here.
Even at, I mean, I'm no scientist, but even in like a molecular level, I think you get more oxytocin by helping out other people.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then that makes sense why I've been doing it for so long.
That's why it just feels better, and you're just like, I just want a little more next year, you know?
No, you know, like, just also like just hearing feedback, if it makes a difference to the dancers, if it impacts the dancers' careers, if it impacts even just like one audience member at a time,
Right.
if like they've never been able to see dance before, or they haven't seen this dance from their childhood, like there's just so many little anecdotal stories that make such a difference to us, and it's like, yeah, I gotta keep going.
Right.
This is why we do this.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, Queens is like, I mean, all New Yorkers know this, but anyone that doesn't live in New York, Queens is definitely not only the biggest borough, but the most diverse. So you have everything to see here.
Yeah.
And it's cool that you put it together, because I personally got exposed to a lot of different cultures because of that. Yeah.
Yeah. What's one that you saw on tour that like you never saw before?
I think, I mean, it's funny because I see them all the time now, thankfully, but like um I don't want to get the exact country wrong, so I'm just gonna say like Eastern European dances, or like a lot of like Southeast Asian. Like I not that I don't. Well, now I get exposed to it, thankfully.
Yeah.
But growing up, it was hard to find that stuff, because
it was. You grew up here, right?
Right. I grew up in New York City, but since I am Hispanic and Mexican, it's like that's the first thing that I'm gonna see. And then, but luckily, like just being in New York physically, you get exposed to that. So that's why I like going. That's why I became a fan of Queensboro Dance Festival.
Oh, thanks. Like, all right. So what's one of the dances this season that has been most striking to you? Like just describe it, and then I can tell you what it is.
Right. So I guess it's funny because it's not like foreign, or you tell me, but it's like dances that have very minimal sound. I assume it's interpretive dancing that is happening. That's like you have to kind of figure out the story that's being told.
So more of like the contemporary modern dances that you've been seeing on tour.
Right, exactly. That's like to me, I like that because it's kind of like a challenge to me, to the viewer. You're like, figure out the message. Because it's like there's a message. It's not just random noises or random movements. It's like
it was like a deliberate choice.
Right,
from
exactly.
the artist.
Right.
Yeah. That's how I feel about visual art a lot of the time, especially like contemporary visual art. It's like it's not necessarily about the product all the time that you're seeing in front of your face. Right. It's like trying to understand the artist's process behind it, or why they chose, a certain color, a certain style, or that's funny because also putting contemporary dance on the same platform as cultural dance or folkloric dance, and then putting that outdoors in a public space for the wide public to see is an opportunity that a lot of residents who are just like walking by our show don't necessarily get to see all the time. And so for them to have that exposure, and also for our dancers to be able to engage with a new audience like that, especially with more modern works like that, is definitely a place to start having a conversation about it. Audiences will come up and be like, what was that dance before? What is this dance about?
So I assume by now, or maybe you could tell me how it was at the beginning, but by now you probably have like a good formula, I guess, on how and where you put things together. Because like, let's say you're in like I don't know, like Astoria, like that will obviously be like like the Greek community will definitely be interested in the Greek dances. But do you try to like sneak something that they might have not seen in there before?
Yeah. We so when we choose locations, and it took a few years to get this down, but we worked with New York City Parks and their different departments to sort of get an idea of where the need was, like where are there parks in Queens that don't get a lot of public activation, like what neighborhoods don't have a lot of arts and cultural programming nearby. So that's sort of where we started. But yeah, whenever we are in a particular neighborhood, we like to mix it up so that there's a point of access for the public. So with the Astoria example, and we're going to be in Athens Square with you next week, right?
That's right.
So they already see a lot of regular Greek dance and music there, in that particular site, and we do have a Greek group touring with us, but they're already very familiar with that neighborhood because that's their community. So what we'll do for Athens Square in Astoria is we'll bring in dances from other parts of the borough and also other cultures, um, but we'll do something so that there's a group that's actually from that neighborhood. Maybe they're not Greek, but they are a local
Oh,
artist.
okay.
So there's like that access point of familiarity, that there's like, oh, this is a person from our neighborhood, or oh, this is a group that's from our culture, in this lineup, so that they can also see other groups from other cultures that are in that lineup too. So we sort of pique their interest, and hopefully they'll enjoy the show.
Yeah. Well, do you ever get like the actual artists? Are they usually like willing to go anywhere, or do they like to kind of stay in the comfort zone?
Yeah,
How do you find
they're well,
them to do?
we lay out the expectations at the beginning of the tour.
Oh, okay.
So we do tell them that we'll be scheduling them according to their availability, but we also want the dancers to have a good experience of the borough too, and get to know other parts of the borough outside of their own neighborhood.
Right.
So we do try and mix it up that way as well. So the artists are amazing. They've been pretty much down to travel anywhere.
Hmm.
We want to give them a good production experience. We want to give them a good venue experience, even though they are in public space, outdoor public space, which is like a whole different ball game than just like
Right.
going into a theater.
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
um, but yeah, they've been amazing, and it wasn't until this year that we got a proper portable dance floor. Like,
Right.
we used to be performing directly onto concrete, whether it was like stage concrete in a
Hmm.
park, or sidewalk, or street concrete even. So we're very grateful that this is a community that we're cultivating of artists who are really committed and interested in performing and giving back to their community.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And speaking of community, I've been working. I mean, maybe directly or indirectly. I don't know how you say it, but for the past 3 years. 3 years ago was the first time.
At Turnout.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And then I physically see like the community and the fan base that you have,
Yeah.
and it not only is it the same like loyalty that you get, but it's like it just grows as the years have been going by.
Yeah.
Like I think what helped a lot was, believe it or not, last year that you were able to go to places like Flushing Park in the outdoor stage that
Hmm.
was out there, and Queen's Theater put on outdoor shows,
Yeah.
and you guys had I'd say like at least 5 of them right out there or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that was a huge opportunity for
Hmm.
us. So we owe a lot of that to Queen's Theater for connecting us to that turnout stage. And that was a first for us as well, like the
Yeah.
chance to be able, because we're used to performing outside in a
Right.
park, but we're not used to having like the amazing outdoor stage
Right,
setup,
with all the
and all the
lighting.
yeah and all of the technical support that we got from you guys. So that was great, and it was also a great experience for the dancers. And even though that was a new location, the I think being able to partner with Queen's Theater, and let Queen's Theater patrons know that this is a new program that's happening in partnership, and then
Right.
also bringing our followers who know that we also put up outdoor programming to come see this new type of setup,
Hmm.
especially after COVID.
Right.
That was a lot of fun, and it gave us the chance to we threw dance parties. That was our pilot program.
Yeah,
Was like,
that's right.
okay, we have this awesome stage, there's this field, and everybody's going to be able to come now. Like, let's just call it a party
Yeah.
and get the audience dancing too. So that was really fun to have the chance to do that, because we had never done that before.
Right.
Yeah,
That was very fun. And I'm pretty sure people just from like being locked up for the past year,
Yeah.
they're eager to get out there and like literally move around and
Yeah.
just enjoy themselves.
Yeah, live dance and live music, like there's nothing like it. So it was
Right.
really cool to be able to invite the audience too, to get up and dance to live music with
Yeah.
us.
And I think it literally, I mean, I think I've told you this before, but like it literally feeds your soul. Like,
Yeah.
uh, like I mean, nothing against like, people who have corporate jobs or whatever, or sit in an office, but it's like, I, I, I'll do it for free. Like I'll come join you guys for free. Fortunately, like I have to pay rent,
Yeah.
things like that. But if I could, I would be in every I mean, I can't be everywhere because you actually have multiple shows sometimes, right? At
Yeah, that's
once.
true.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that's new for us to be in several places at once. But we try.
Yeah, but that's amazing. And then the fact that you have, actual flooring now and, more multiple shows at once. It's obviously people are all, in support and like want to go see everything because it's worth it. And once again, it's just like it's not arts just to have like fun, I guess. It's also to like I said, feed something that you don't really see all the time.
Yeah,
Like I
oh,
know
thank
people
you.
for sure like leave those performances just as spectators and as artists for sure. Just feeling better and like maybe that is like the pick me up that they needed to like get
Yeah.
the rest of the week going and things like
Oh
that.
man, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that means a lot. That yeah, we try to be as impactful as we can wherever. That's how we select our locations,
Right.
and like making sure we're in neighborhoods um, where we can really directly reach the residents and the families that
Mhm.
live there. And so whenever we have the chance to talk to the audience afterwards, and that's also the benefit of being in a public space, it kind of just puts everybody at ease to be able to have like a casual dialogue,
Right.
between dancers and audience members, and they can talk to each other like neighbors because
Right.
everybody's local. Um, as opposed to in a formal theater environment or something where you can't talk to the artist.
Right.
They have a
Yeah.
backstage door, and like
Exactly.
all the audience goes home. So but it's always nice to hear like those anecdotes from the audience members of how the show has inspired them, or really like whenever there's been so many amazing stories. Like a couple years ago we were at a senior center when we were, this was before COVID,
Hmm.
when we actually had a few more indoor locations. Like sometimes we would be inside of Queens Public Libraries, or the Parks Rec Centers. And one of the Parks Rec Centers was a senior center. And this woman came out to see us because she saw us listed in some newspaper.
Oh, okay.
She got her husband to bring her, and she was in a wheelchair, and she was explaining that she was a Holocaust survivor.
Oh,
And she
wow.
showed me
Okay.
pictures from her purse, and she got all dressed up to come out. And she came out because she saw that a Greek, one of our Greek
Hmm.
dance groups was performing, and she was also Greek, and she got to
Okay.
talk to the dancers afterwards, and how much it made her year. I mean, stuff like that, just to get all like choked up about it, because you never know like who you're gonna touch. So
Yeah, but that kind of stuff is, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why you're still doing it after like almost 10 years, right?
yeah, that's definitely why we do
Yeah, yeah, it's
it.
great. Speaking of inspiring other people, I'm pretty sure like it's my question, and I'm pretty sure other people have this question that might. Oh, sorry, give me 1 sec. All right, we're back Instagram. But yeah, I'm pretty sure other people who might be, I don't want to say scared, but like might be hesitant to take that first step as far as like starting something.
Oh,
Like where
mhm.
I know for you it had to been like, well, actually you tell me, was it something that just came like automatic? You were just like, on go from day one, like you are now, or was it like a lot of like, I don't know how to do this, but I guess I'll figure it out, and when.
Yeah, it's some of that. It's some of that too. I think so. When I started the festival, it
Mhm.
was only 4 nights at the Secret Theater, and the
Okay.
Secret Theater at the time was in Long Island City, which was down the street from my apartment at the
Oh,
time.
okay.
I'm not there anymore.
Mhm.
The theater's not there anymore either. But I just pitched it to the theater on paper, and we did a 1 week rental, and I think we presented 18 dance groups, and they all had to be from Queens, is the main
Right.
premise. Um, and just kind of like the feedback and the work that was being shown and the artists that we were meeting um, was just so inspiring to me that I was just like, okay, this, like, let's just keep going.
All right.
And being less afraid to ask for things and
Right.
to go for things. I had to keep reminding myself the worst thing that can happen is like someone says no,
Right.
or you hit a speed bump and that's an opportunity to be creative, or it's an opportunity to kind of reevaluate, like, is that the direction you wanted to go, like coming
Right.
up with a mission, and making sure it was filling an ongoing need was what kept me sort of focused
Right.
on
Okay.
what direction I should go in whenever I was making a lot of decisions on how to grow the program.
Right.
Um, and which is why it also led it to a tour format. If we're going to really represent as much as the borough as possible, and we want to reach as much as the borough as possible, it can't exist inside of a theater. It has to
Right.
be
Right.
public as possible, and it needs to travel. So, yeah, I mean, and yeah, I think, like, as long as you're clear with what your mission is,
Right.
and you're okay with, like, asking for stuff,
Right.
asking for stuff, and believing in why you're asking for things, you'll get the support. You'll get the support if it's like, if it's very mission driven. So that's just what's kept me going.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you have a good what do you call it, foundation and base.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then you can't really trip. I mean, you obviously will trip up here and there, but it's not gonna
Yeah.
be like any major hits if, like you
Yeah.
said, you're focused.
Yeah, and those are all like growing opportunities, right? I
Right.
mean, I know, like, sometimes people think that that's like, oh, that's just what people tell you. It's like when a bird poops on you,
All
and
right.
everybody's like,
It's
oh,
good luck.
that's good luck. It's
Yeah.
like, nah, I mean, like, a bird pooped on you, like, you
Right.
don't. That's just, you're just trying to make them feel better, but
Right.
but I think, like, if you, I lost my train of thought because I was thinking of birds pooping.
It's okay.
But
Happens.
yeah, what were so we were talking
Um,
about?
Yeah, it's funny, like, because I was talking about staying focused. Like...
yeah, about that mission. Oh yeah, so I think also what was really encouraging, to do things that you haven't done before, is if there's no real model that you
Right.
can look towards. Like, there were some models for us, like, in terms of, like, how to tour things, like how bands tour,
Right.
or how there's other, citywide festivals that do lots of different things. For us, we're much smaller. We're very geographically focused.
Yeah.
But it was encouraging to me that it's okay to stumble and make mistakes, because if there's nobody else that's doing it, then, like, you're the one who's
Right.
figuring it out, so it's okay. And that can be a good thing. That
Yeah,
means,
for sure.
like, you're doing something that no one else is doing, and you're serving a need. So
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was trying to say.
Oh yeah. You're definitely, like, if you think about it, you're definitely the trailblazer for. Well, I haven't heard of any other boroughs having a dance festival like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Brooklyn has Celebrate Brooklyn, but I'm not super clear. Like, I'm not super sure what that festival entails. But yeah, being, like, geographically focused is definitely something that you don't see a lot.
Right.
And it only became that way because of how it started, which was, I don't know where dancers are here. I don't know where their resources are here.
Right.
And it was just so happened it was because I lived here. So. Yeah.
Well, actually, now I'm curious. Well, and you obviously have way better point of view than I do, because I'm not a dancer, unfortunately. I mean, maybe just at weddings, and that's about it. But I feel like, from what I see, it's like, just, I see all types of artists, like musicians, actors, and whatnot, like, just trying to hustle. It's New York City, everybody's doing it. But I feel like dancers, it's even, I don't want to say hard, but you have to put even more effort than, like, let's say, a musician. Because a musician, you just walk into somewhere and it's like, hey, I play this, here's my demo. And they're like, all right, come by this day, this hour, and we'll put you on stage. For dancers, is it somewhat similar, or is it like very, that's what I'm wondering, because it's like, you are actually giving people the chance of, like, going somewhere and doing that. And it's like, I feel like that's not everywhere for dancers.
Oh, that's interesting. No, I hadn't thought of it that way. No, I don't think Yeah, it's definitely not the same way as musicians. I think with musicians, they've got their instrument physically and they can freelance with like several different bands.
Right,
And
exactly.
I think, there is a similar opportunity where a freelance dancer can perform for several different projects and
Hmm.
work for several different choreographers. But I think the process in which that happens is so much harder.
Right,
Like
yeah, that's true.
there's a physical audition process. Sometimes there's like a specific typecast, like
Hmm.
they're looking for a
Right,
specific
right.
type of dancer. They have, sometimes it's like almost like a TV casting where you have to like be a certain height or look
Oh,
a
right.
certain way
Hmm.
or be proficient in a certain style or technique of dance. um I also think there's like a harder there's like not as solidified as a platform for dancers than musicians, for example.
Right, yeah.
Like musicians can, they can busk, right?
Right,
There's like a whole system in New York City that supports busking.
right,
It's a lot more portable
right.
for musicians to do that. But dancers, it's like we need space and we would love like proper flooring,
Right,
and
exactly.
we can't always do it outside year round,
Hmm.
because we're working with our physical
Yeah,
body all the
exactly.
time, and there's not as many like musicians can perform in small spaces,
Right, exactly.
and in bars and things like that. And I think in general, there's a bigger audience, and appreciation for music in not just theaters. Dance is a little bit more particular.
Right.
Um, so yeah, so I think that hustle is a little bit
Yeah, I think so too. I just wanted to hear from an actual
harder.
dancer because I have had dancers here before the podcast, and it's like the more I talk to you dancers, the more it's like, oh God, it's like it's like a lot of courage in general to be a dancer, especially in New York City. And then um
It's
like
like the place where it can most likely happen, though, because the
that's
city is
true,
also
yeah.
the place where you can like carve out your own space for yourself as an
Right.
artist. um and I mean, it's definitely why I was able to create the festival. Like, I
Right.
don't know if I would have been able to create the festival in any other city, just like on my own the way I
Right,
have
that's true.
been. But yeah, for dancers, like they the audition process is hard.
Right, I figured.
There's like so many big avenues. Like, people want to go the Broadway route, or people want to
Right.
be a company member in like a big dance company
Hmm.
name, or they want to do like the music video route. Like, those are
Right,
very
right.
competitive. And there tends to be a shorter lifespan for the dance
That's another
career,
thing, yeah, too.
as compared to like a musician or an actor,
Right.
because we work our bodies so hard.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's another thing too. I kind of consider dancers athletes, where it's like from I guess your career. I mean, it's really when your body decides it, right? It
Yeah,
kind of like
you can definitely have like an injury ending,
yeah,
or
for sure.
career ending
Mhm.
injury rather.
But that's I mean that's a good thing about I think what do you call them? Uh yeah, schools, I guess. Like like the more like your body might not work, but your experience and your knowledge is definitely still there to pass on to other people. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
if they become like teachers,
Right.
or they go into like the academic world where they are like professors of some sort of um dance related.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely one route. I personally was like not ever interested too much in teaching dance.
I
I
can't
tried
really.
it.
Yeah.
I tried it. I tried it.
Uh-huh.
I taught after school dance for some years, in public school,
Oh,
in
okay.
at the elementary level.
Mhm.
And I was just like, oh man, this is like not really my thing, which
Yeah.
is probably why I ended up on the production side of
Oh,
things.
okay.
I very much more enjoyed like presenting like professional level companies and
Right.
then like reaching the public that way. But like school, the school system was not for me. And the other thing too, like about like the dance career hustle and for example like the music career hustle was that it seems like musicians there's always more budget for musicians
Oh,
than
right.
there is for
Yeah.
dancers. And I don't know, I think part of it is also like musicians are used to getting paid.
Right.
So they can ask for that funding.
Right.
Or they can ask for those fees for whoever hires them. Dancers should also have the same mentality,
Right.
but I think we've just to a certain degree and maybe just not just up until recently dancers have somehow had this like reputation that they will do things for free or
Right.
that like people who want dancers at a certain event like they don't have to pay dancers but they have to pay musicians.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know like
Exactly.
where that notion comes from.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, is it because a musician has a musical instrument with them?
Right.
It's like, well,
Right.
dancers carry their instrument like
Right. Exactly.
trying to change. And I understand like funding's hard, but
Right.
it shouldn't be like, oh, like, we should only pay music artists and not
Right.
dance artists.
Exactly.
But I know that they're trying to turn that tide, especially in terms of public funding.
Right.
So,
That's true.
yeah, and just trying to change the rhetoric. Like, okay, if an organization, public or private, if they come up to us as a festival, like, oh, we'd love to work with you guys, like.
Mhm.
Can you provide dance performances? And I'll be like, yes. Can you have to be able to pay our dancers?
Right.
We don't want to, like perpetuate this idea that dancers will work for free.
Right. Exactly.
Or that we're going to connect dancers to jobs that aren't paid. Like then
Right.
that's not
Yeah.
a job. Then you're volunteering.
Right.
So we want to make sure that word gets out is like you gotta pay dancers.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I love having these types of conversations, and then to get people to listen, and then like get that in your mind, like you are valuable, like you have certain skills that should be monetized, I guess you can say.
Yeah, it's a job.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
and like I guess the complicated thing is like it's a job that it varies across the dance field. Some
Right.
people, and I guess it shouldn't really matter, but some people dance, at recreationally,
Right.
like it's just for fun. Some people do it, and it's like their only source of income, their main source of income. Some people do it because their whole family is involved and
Okay.
they are they have the honor and the responsibility of preserving their dance culture and sharing it and passing it down. So there's like lots of different purposes why people dance, but I think regardless they need to be paid for their time.
Yeah, I agree.
At least be offered and give the dancers a chance, if they're part of a larger organization and it's a volunteer organization, then maybe they take that funding that you offer them and they make the decision to give it back to their organization. Just like different ways to acknowledge that their work is worth their time and their effort, so much so that you want them at your event or you want to engage their dancing. So yeah.
So I'm curious now, where did you personally like fall into that category of like why you dance? Like why'd you got into it in general?
Yeah. I loved it.
Right. First and foremost, right?
Out of college, I went to Boston University and they didn't have a dance major at the time. So I did a minor. And I figured, okay, I'm young, I'm just out of college. I can always get an office job later.
Right.
The thing that has an expiration date, or it's a little bit more time sensitive, is like a dance career.
Yeah, exactly right.
So I chose to go that route, and I promised myself, okay, you're gonna like give this dance thing, the best try you can,
Right.
and if you hit a fork in the road, or you hit a bump where, it's no longer seems sustainable enough for your life in New York City,
Right.
then you can reevaluate. Um, and kind of holding that promise to myself is definitely what has kept me accountable, like,
That's good. Yeah.
and just like keep me driving. Luckily this festival happened,
Yeah.
and that's been sustainable enough. We're
Yeah.
not like rolling in it, but it definitely has its trajectory. I don't feel like we've peaked, at all. Like they do say that, at only at 10 years of existence do you start really impacting the
Right.
city.
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna be 10 years old next year. So in a lot of ways, even though we've accomplished things up to this point, it's almost like just starting. So it's I know that I still have more work to be done, and hopefully that also means more funding to be
Right.
collected, so that as the city hears more about us and other funders.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely worth it. I mean, I know New York One is listening right now, or everything else. Not just saying, but you never know. I think yeah, that's another thing too. You probably didn't see much like at first many open doors, and like you probably didn't even know where to look at first. Did you, like, as far as like funding, or
Yeah.
where, yeah, where you could even perform, what kind of, I guess, audience would like to see you, and all these
Yeah.
little things, right?
Yeah, when I started as a freelance dancer, like everybody else, like it
Right.
was a lot of fun. Like you hop on all sorts of different gigs. You got a lot of different types of experience under your belt,
Hmm.
and you experience different types of places in New York City. So you're just kind of like getting project money here and
Right. Right.
there. I still definitely had to supplement, like I was the waitress, I
Yeah.
was a bartender. I taught dance classes to kids. I taught Pilates for a little while, like that hustle, all that hustle,
Right.
um, just so I can have the opportunity to keep building my dance career. And then, just discovering throughout that hustle that gap is what made me shift towards putting all my effort into developing the festival, but also wanting to preserve like the artistic side of myself, um, and still being a dancer somehow. COVID COVID changed everything. I
Yeah,
had, like
it definitely
the
does.
freelance stuff like completely came to a halt. Like so many spaces and organizations and companies had to just stop or they closed down. um, so that was also a way for me to start focusing as an individual artist on like Filipino folk dance,
Oh, okay.
and maybe starting to get into my own. I had I have a contemporary training
Hmm.
background, but sort of like combining that with what I know in Filipino folk dance, and also um, in Aikido martial arts, which is
Oh,
what,
wow. Okay.
yeah, my whole family studied Aikido,
Nice.
you know, pre-pandemic, and
That's
where like
amazing.
um, I have not been able to practice in a dojo properly since the pandemic, because that was a precarious situation in
Right.
terms
Yeah.
of
Of
the
course.
virus.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm already like veering way off topic. So
No, no,
what
not at all. No.
what was your initial
Well, I
question?
mean, it's funny because, like,
I knew I had
just
something to say about your initial question, but
eh,
I think I started too far back.
no. I mean, it's funny because the fact when you mentioned Aikido, I'm like, that kind of went away, and I was like, tell me more.
Oh my god, yeah. But um oh, okay. So
Yeah.
like you were asking about funding. So the whole
Mhm.
reason why I started going down this funding rabbit hole was because in my particular neighborhood, at the time I was living in Long Island City, I was getting pushed out of apartments.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know why. I saw like the Secret Theater had closed. I had seen like a rehearsal space in my neighborhood had also closed. Like the Five Points
Right.
building.
Right.
I used to rehearse in there
Oh, okay.
because an old friend of mine, her dad was a set builder, and we would rehearse in his like giant
Oh,
studio
right.
space in
Okay.
there, and
Mhm.
there used to be an art gallery there and everything. So seeing all of these spaces that were being lost, especially arts related spaces,
Right.
I did not know, like, what are the powers that be that makes these decisions, like where does money come from. And that's, I joined my community board, um, which was like my first way of trying to figure out like how money works in this
Right.
city, and where does funding streams flow in terms of arts and culture, and grant writing. Like I had no idea, like how do you even start the grant
Yeah,
writing
exactly.
process.
Right.
So my first point into learning about that was through Queens Council on the Arts, and this was years ago. So once you like start seeing, the sometimes messed up ways that
Right.
funding flows and stops and gets redirected in the city between like public funding and even private funding, it's like you can't unsee it.
Right. I
so
guess you're saying right.
so
Right.
then like trying to figure out how to navigate that, but also how to have access to that so that we can like continue to provide programming and also pay our artists, that is like an ongoing journey.
So I'm a little curious now. So I did have. I'm sorry to break the momentum, but I did have a good question
Okay.
about like you becoming, I guess, going from or transitioning from just being a dancer to doing everything else, basically. Like, because I feel like as a
By necessity.
right, yeah, exactly, by necessity, and I feel like maybe artists in general can learn something from you because I feel like a lot of artists are scared to like step into that because it's like they'll feel like they might uh compromise their creativity if
Yeah.
they start getting into the whole
Yeah, it's
behind the
true. I mean, it
scenes.
happens. That's a constant struggle to like find that
Yeah.
balance, and figure out how to prioritize your time. Like, so for me, it's like I definitely spend a lot of time. Like the festival is my full time job.
Right.
It's also what pays me.
Mhm.
So
That's great. Yeah, that's amazing.
that's like
Congratulations
the
that you can say that.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it doesn't pay me a lot, but it pays
but
me.
it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely why that is a hand in hand priority, which is nice. Like it's one step from um needing to do what I did previously, which was like supplement
All right.
my passion with completely unrelated work.
All right.
um
Right. Right.
or work that I didn't want to
Yeah, we've all
spend
been
time
there.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've all been there.
Yeah.
It's and it's a real part of it.
Right.
So like making sure I had set an intention for myself. Like almost like a New Year's resolution. I always feel like there's like two New Years. You get like your regular calendar year
Right.
resolution, New Year's resolution, and then your birthday is like
Yeah,
your
I
personal.
agree.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like
Yeah.
it. It's like another shot to look at. And my birthday's in May, so it's almost like I have a half year point
Oh,
where
yeah.
I
That's
can
perfect. Yeah.
renew and check in and sort of reflect. But something I always want to keep in mind is like how to prioritize and carve out time for myself and my
Right.
creative self. So that's ended up taking the form of doing more Filipino folk dance, and that door sort of just opened up organically.
Hmm.
So as opposed to the pressure of creating, like being in a rehearsal studio and creating out of nothing, like especially if you're trying to choreograph within a modern dance vocabulary or something like
Right.
that, like that's a very deep, time intensive,
Yeah.
emotional process, that you really, it's a practice, like you really have to carve out time to practice like you would in any other art.
Right.
um the Filipino folk dance, the way that's come across, or the way that's come up for me, has been really interesting. Like I guess it's because there's not a whole lot of access to Filipino arts, or having that represented in the dance world. So I do tinikling, which is a bamboo. It's like, have you ever seen it? It's with
I
like
think
two
so.
bamboo
Yeah.
poles, and you open and close them rhythmically,
Right.
and it's
Oh, yeah.
traditional
Yeah.
music.
Okay.
And we would do that sometimes at our dance festival events almost like a pre-show activity or a
Okay.
post-show activity, or if we were, we wanted to be present at, a street fair or something like that, but we weren't doing a whole performance, then that would be an activation that we would bring. And that slowly grew into like, oh, do you teach this? Like, or like the most recent thing that was very unexpected was like, can you do this at my wedding?
Oh
And I was
wow.
like, oh,
Okay.
wow. All of a sudden we have this request to do Filipino folk dances at weddings. There was a bunch of Filipinos getting married. We're like, sure, yeah, we'll
Right.
do that. Like, you'll pay us. Okay, great. So then that gave us a reason to start. I was like, I need to find dancers. I need to start rehearsing, and then another wedding is like, can you also perform this other Filipino folk dance and this other one? And I was like, okay, great. There's an excuse for us to start learning new stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
then we just started building practice repertory, and then a grant came up recently, and it was specifically to highlight Asian American artists, and also to, it was part of like an anti-hate
Right, right. That's good.
initiative that the funding was for. And I found out recently that I just got that grant, and that's
Oh,
just for
awesome.
me being an artist. And I was like, oh my god, I never thought I'd have the chance to like actually have my individual art practice be funded in this way, and it's now giving us more reason and purpose to putting up a program that highlights Filipino arts and culture. So I'm getting ready for that too, which happens after the festival. but
Yeah, that's cool though.
but
That's
yeah,
really
it's been
good.
exciting.
Um, I I think you like I said off camera. I think you're gonna have to come back because I just keep having so many questions. Like I want to know more about like your Filipino like background and because it's like I feel like the Philippines is such a diverse country in general, and it's like actually the whole like uh yeah, it's like I don't even know how to say it. Like it just expands to all the way over here, and
Yeah.
then like not just like Filipino culture, and it's all different too, like depending on the
Yeah.
region too, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's an island country. It's got, and I was born here. I was
Uh-huh.
born in Flushing, at Flushing Hospital.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and both my parents are from the Philippines, and they came over here, in like the 70s. So a
Hmm.
lot of my family, when they immigrated to New York, everybody was living in Jamaica, Queens, and then I ended up growing up in Connecticut. Anyway,
Hmm.
um, yeah, with all the islands and all the different regions, like there's different folk dances from different regions, sort of reflective of the terrain or the climate
Right.
or the lifestyle, or even like the economy there. Like, you know dances are different if it came from a fishing village versus
Right.
if it came from the mountains, or
Yeah, I
if it
figured.
came from the beach side, or if it came from the rice fields. Like there's dances that reflect also
Right.
different types of that, or like tinikling, which is considered the national dance of the Philippines. Like depending on the region, because it's recognized as a national dance, like there'll be different versions of it.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So this was something that was just it's just what I've learned peripherally from my family, but
Hmm.
being here as a Filipino American, but then also like studying, like I've got like folk dance books, and we watch a lot of video and all that stuff. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's once again why I love just working with you guys, Queensboro Dance Festival, and even just like as a spectator, it's like you just learn so much, and that's kind of like one of the main I feel reasons why Queens is so like it just feeds everyone's soul because it's just like wherever you go, you find culture
yeah.
wherever it's from, like around the world. And even if you don't ask for it, it doesn't hurt to get involved in it because it's basically you're bringing the like if you can't go to the country itself, it's coming to you,
Yeah.
and you're getting a little taste of it. But obviously, it's nothing like the real thing. So if,
Yeah.
if you guys can just do all the traveling, you can.
And I think
But,
being in it and just being surrounded by it without it being like it's just like every day. It's just like
right,
no big thing. So you're just
exactly.
exposed to it naturally, and um like we're used to, but also like I'm always grateful for, like, I hear all the languages, like on the street or on
Hmm.
the 7 train, like just knowing that like where we live is such a culturally rich
Yeah,
place. And we're really lucky for that too.
Yeah,
Like
I
there's
agree.
just there's always like, that's the best way to learn, is to learn by exposure, or to learn without even knowing that you're learning,
Right. Yeah.
like in this
Exactly.
like formal environment. Which is also like one of the most rewarding things about the festival too, is like people come away, whether or not they know it, learning something,
Right.
like learning something new just because they were exposed to it, and hopefully they enjoyed it. So that also will stay, that knowledge will stay with them longer because it was
Right.
something that resonated with them, on both sides, because dancers are also, maybe they've never been to that neighborhood, or maybe
Right.
they've never
Exactly.
seen this dance before that went on stage like right before them, something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Once again, I wish we could just stay here forever, but I understand if we have to keep
I'll
going.
come back. We'll come
But yeah,
back.
definitely, please. Before we go, right now it's Labor Day weekend. This will probably come out during the week after
Mhm.
Labor Day.
That's good, because all of
So
our shows are after Labor Day.
all right, awesome. Because yeah, as a matter of fact, I assume most of your season is like behind us, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We've got like, I mean, most of our season is behind us, but we've technically got like 7 shows left.
Oh wow,
Still a lot
that's
of
cool.
shows.
Yeah, that's good.
So
Yeah.
like, if everybody follows us on Instagram at Queensboro Dance Festival, or goes to our website, queensborodancefestival.com. But next Friday, the 9th, which you're also going to be on site with us.
Yes, I
So
will.
if anybody wants to see David, just come for David.
Yeah, come say
Um,
hi and stay for the show.
Friday, yeah, Friday is at Athens Square in Astoria.
Right.
It's free. The next day, Saturday, is at Diversity Plaza in Jackson Heights, also free. Different lineup. And then the weekend after that, we're at the Long Island City waterfront. So Thursday, September 15th, we're gonna be at Gantry Plaza State Park, which is right along the water. Where like the big
Right.
gantries are, those big, I don't even know. They're
Yeah.
for boats. They used
Yeah,
to be for
exactly.
boats. They
Kind
look
of
like
like
big
docks.
gates. Yeah,
Yeah.
docks. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that Sunday, the 18th, we're just at the park right next to it, which is a city-owned park, not a state park.
Oh, okay.
Hunters
Right.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hunters Point South Park, in the clearing there. So yeah, so we'll be in Long Island City for that week. And then we take a week off to prepare for Queen's Theater, which traditionally has been the theater of our season finale. I think it's like going on maybe like 5 years now that we've always had our finale
Yeah, that's good.
at Queen's Theater. It's
Yeah.
been such a great tradition. Like, we're outdoors all summer long, and then as the weather gets cooler, we go inside and we get to be on like the big historical stage with lights and
Yeah, that's
everything, because
great.
we don't have lights when we're outside. So that'll
Not
be
yet.
the weekend of September 30th. So September 30th, October 1st and 2nd. And if you go to that, if you go all weekend, you'll see all 26 companies that
Oh,
tour
nice,
with us. So it's like a
amazing.
different lineup every night. So if people, I think we're doing a promo, like a tour pass. So if you go see all 3 nights, you'll get a discount as a package.
Oh,
You can
okay.
see all the different companies.
That's good.
Which you're probably also working that weekend.
I
right?
am working the whole weekend,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm very lucky. Yeah,
You're gonna be very familiar with all the
yeah,
pieces.
that's amazing though. Because yeah, I wish, like, once again, I wish I could be at every event that you guys throw, but it's physically not possible.
Yeah. Well, you're at the finale. You're gonna get
Yeah.
the whole, like. Are you working? Are you working sound for the finale?
I guess we can discuss that. What
Are you
position you
working
want me to
all of
work?
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be up and down throughout the theater.
That's
But yeah,
cool.
it's great. I love Queensboro Dance Festival. I truly do.
Thank you so
And
much.
yeah, thank you for coming by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll come back and we can talk about other stuff once
Yeah,
the
for
season's
sure.
over.
Yeah, Karesia actually has like a great, I guess, she's very creative, so she just gave me a lot of ideas off camera.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So it won't be the last time we hear from her. Anything else that I'm missing that everybody else should know? I mean, yeah, I'll put all the information, all the links for people to go
thank
follow you.
Yeah.
Because yeah, definitely, even if you're not from Queens, if you live somewhere else in the country or world, definitely follow Queensboro Dance Festival, and you can just see the live stream that they do too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. We live stream.
Yeah, so it's worth following them on YouTube, on everything. I'll post all the links. I'm just like trying to extend it as much as I can because I don't want to I don't want to end this, but it's fine.
We've
till next time.
we've got a fundraiser coming up, which is Dancing with the Queen Stars.
Oh, okay.
We can talk about that some other. I mean, we've got like 2 minutes, so here's my elevator pitch. It's like, so it's sort of like the TV show, which I actually have never seen, but I like understood the gist of it from just like hearing about it. But we pair up different community leaders from Queens, and we pair them up with one of our choreographers, and they perform a 90-second duet for like a panel of community judges, and it's a lot of fun. There's like food and drink and stuff. So if anybody out there knows any sponsors that would be down to support this type of event, or like even people who are interested in maybe being a community dancer, there'll be 5 teams total. Highest score gets a trophy.
Okay.
We've got like a fan favorite award. I mean, it's a lot of fun. But it's like our one fundraiser to like, pull in money for to keep our programming going, because all of our program is free to the public.
Exactly.
So it should be a good time, and that'll be October 20th. So if anybody wants to attend that, totally, it's a good time to see everybody dancing.
Sounds good. Thank you, Karesia, for everything, and we'll see each other soon.
Yep. See you soon.
Yeah. See you soon.
Thanks in advance.
And everybody else, thank you very much for listening in or watching. Like I said, we'll definitely have Karesia back soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me. It's my first podcast.
Oh,
so
wow.
Cool.
Look at you. You're natural.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. How easy was that?
That was fun.
Yeah, I know. People are always nervous. It's like there's nothing to be nervous about. We're literally just hanging out. That's why this is The Hang.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us at The Hang. We'll talk to you next time.
All right.
Thank you.
Can be the way that you hold me, the way that you sold me, thinking I'd be in a perpetual love. Don't you worry about a thing. You have my heart for all time. Love me, hold me, feel me, touch me slowly, babe. Love me, hold me, feel me, touch me, let go of worries. You don't have to worry about this, babe.
All right, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. And I hope you keep coming back. We have a couple more episodes already ready to go. Well, not ready to go, but in the on deck circle. So stay tuned. We're definitely gonna get busier throughout this month. And believe it or not, even though the summer's over, there's actually, if anything, I personally have more time to get into podcasting back again. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted. Follow us on the Instagrams and the social medias. I personally am at The Major. I'm not gonna tell you how to spell it, because you can just go click on it in the show notes, and definitely follow, and that way you can look at all the live aspects of it. We go on Instagram Live. So let's I mean, if you're not on Instagram, hey, speaking of, how about Twitch, huh? Any of you out there want to give us a cute hint on how to get the Twitch going? I sound like such an old man. How do you kids get the Twitch going? Anyways, we're ever evolving with you guys as well. So thank you, appreciate it. Don't forget, you can go on the website davidbmusic.com for any merch. So anyways, and everything I say is on the show notes. So let's go ahead and just scroll down a little bit. It doesn't take much, all right? All right, I already talked way too much. It's already about to be 2 minutes of blabbering. Thanks for listening this far. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.